Hello. So once again today training mission, P-40 this time. Hello. And we're gonna fly the same Server SteelSkies training. I need to set up some things. Let's make it US standard skin. 100% fuel and standard armament. And start. So I haven't played P-40 lately. I need to give myself some practice, some training to revive my skills. That's very important for operational readiness, because those 3 or 4 weeks I didn't play, maybe even a month, I didn't try that P-40. You're losing, you're forgetting, losing skills, forgetting your settings, all speeds, attitudes. So I would like to train a bit. To refresh operational readiness on this P-40. I consider this airplane is main airplane for me. Unfortunately, no real gameplay on multiplayer on this P-40. I like vehicle convoys, strafing, AAA, suppressing missions, but I haven't played for a long time, so I need to train to practice a bit, and next week probably, if historical air war training will be available, I'm gonna try to fly combat. Okay, while engines is starting, I'm gonna check out my track IR settings. Track IR is okay. Lights on. I will not lie, this I love P-40, I like this airplane. I consider P-40 is a basic United States Air Force Army Air Force pursuit fighter, just like Yak-1, Yak-9 in Soviet Air Force was main of course you need to have your power unit, your engine not outdated to be capable of doing something to survive against 109s, 190s. So my mission program is gonna be the same training mission. First I will do taxiing, and this airplane I'm 100% confident I'm comfortable with taxiing on concrete or asphalt tarmac, because you can taxi with your rudder surface without using brakes. That's very comfortable and not boring for me, not boring at all. You need to have some skills, you need to use it to perform that normal speed taxiing. And I like it, but just try not to practice 2 or 3 weeks and you're gonna do mistakes like I did right now. That was, I call it a circling attempt. I managed to avoid circle, but I've lost some time for that, and she shifted left, so I touched the gravel. Once again, small mistake, small error. So even this perfect, very wide asphalt taxi runway, I've got some problems. I'm experiencing some difficulties with taxiing. That was expectable. That's what you expect when you do not practice for more than a month. So I expect more issues, more troubles. But anyway, as you can see, very, very comfortable, very easy. I bet it's quite hot weather, because as you can see, I've got 1025 or 30 RPM. That's quite much for P-40, but I bet it's too hot, so your engine power reducing in hot weather. Of course, you're not able to set up to fine-tune your RPM with your throttle lever. I can set it 0.3 or 20 or 30 RPM minimum. So if you need to change 10 or 15 RPM, that's gonna be impossible with your throttle lever. I would say my taxiing speed is a little bit more than I need. A little bit too fast, yes. I need to reduce power. As you can see, now it's 995 RPM. That's gonna be not enough. So I've called this stream the most boring stream on YouTube. I'm sorry. I know that's very boring for almost all users, all players, but that's interesting for me. I love it. I'm suffering from lack of free time to perform such missions. Suffering from lack of normal multiplayer gameplay for P-40. I remember more than 10 years ago in old Il2 Forgotten Battles we had a great server Tuman Войны, Fog of War, and unfortunately P-40 wasn't available all the time, about maybe 1/3 or 1/2 of the time P-40 was available, but I've played much more on P-40 because normal gameplay, combat missions were available for user. That Tuman Войны server had a lot of vehicle convoys. Unfortunately, missions were very short. That was inconvenient. But nowadays, if historical air war training server isn't available, I'm practically have got nowhere to fly on P-40. A Finnish server is okay, but awful turbulence, I hate it, and no vehicle convoys. Combat box and tactical air war is also okay, but short missions, and there is no techno chat on tactical air war. Tactical air war is almost always not available. So now I'm in readiness position for rolling into the start. When it's 30 seconds, now it's 13 seconds. When it's 30 seconds, I'm gonna start moving on my start position. You need to make normal taxi with turning. First of all, start moving part, then taxiing part, turning, and you need to stop with the heading, with your takeoff heading plus minus 5 degrees. My takeoff heading is gonna be 150. I made that part with a mistake with I used brakes. That was, I consider that's an error, so I'm rusty. My operational readiness isn't good, isn't okay. Now I'm adjusting trimming for you wouldn't believe that I almost forgot my landing approach settings. I really forgot that. That's what happens when you skip your. I almost said when you skip your workouts, when you're looking into the mirror and see your fat body. That's what happens when you skip your workouts, and that what happens when you skip your operational readiness training missions. So now I'm practicing high-speed taxiing for clearing landing run procedure after landing. That's also, I love it. It's quite hard. You need skills for that. You need to be in shape to perform that. Different surfaces, different skills, different airplane behavior, and soon when I gonna approach that landing run threshold, I gonna throttle back, and my P-40's behavior on taxiing is gonna change briefly. So that change could catch you unaware, and you can have circling. I have applied brakes that also wasn't necessarily good. I'm trying to avoid using brakes, and as you can see, I failed to do 180 without using brakes. So let's repeat. So after I mix my practice landing runs and clearing runway high-speed taxiing with 180 turns. First 180 turns without using brakes, then 180 turns with using brakes, being stationary much easier, and without using brakes a little bit harder, but on this beautiful P-40 I'm quite comfortable. So once again I'm trying to stop on 330 plus minus 5 degrees without using brakes. I failed to do that. I was forced to apply brakes. So next attempt I gonna try and do without brakes. So once again flaps down and start. Slow throttle ahead movement. During 5 seconds you need to increase your manifold pressure to 39 inches, not more than 40 inches. As you can see, I failed to do that. One more error, and now throttle back and practice landing run. That was almost disaster, almost circling. I'm very rusty. That's why I like that training. You need that training to revive your skills. That's all inside your brain, inside your neuron ties centers. I don't know how to say it in English. But this P-40, her behavior on taxiing, I like it very much, very much. Quite hard, quite complex, but somewhat easy at the same time. Beautiful standard US Army Air Force fighter pursuit airplane. And next, of course, P-40 was outdated, even with a great advanced engines, so I consider the next standard US Army Air Force fighter P-38. Once again circling, as you can see. Unfortunately, I've got not too much time. First of all, 1 hour and 30 minutes left until mission end. And second, I would like to make another stream, another training mission today for Russian speaking on Russian with Russian commentary on A20. I couldn't play yesterday. Saturday is my my main flying day. I almost never fly Sunday, but I couldn't play and stream yesterday, so it's Sunday time for streaming. Next week probably I will be able to do 3 flying days, or at least 2, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Oh, that's the first time after months being grounded I perform 180 without using brakes at all. As you can see, 150 heading. That's what I like. Canopy closed, flaps down. Flaps down and wait until my 45 seconds and then start moving part, throttle forward slowly, increase manifold pressure in one movement, in 5 second movement, so your throttle lever movement shouldn't be very fast. That's for not only for P-40 reliability, but only for standard mission part performance. That's important for group flying. I'm quite aware I will not fly in group ever, because this particular mission program and how I make all mission parts is very boring for normal user. I'm aware of that, but anyway, I consider that's the right way of doing things. So I like when people fly in formation, do group missions, but I'm sorry for such a strong language. I'm disgust of disorder and incompetence which you can see on those missions. As you can see, high-speed taxiing was bad this time. I've touched the I've touched the gravel and I'm speeding too much. I've set wrong engine power. I should have 1200 RPM and I had only 10. That's my bad, I'm sorry for that. That's another error. That's why I like and I do from time to time operational readiness training. Practically I don't know how to say it in English. In Russian we call it operational skills recovery. So you have to revive your skills, and that's a compliment for this game realism, because in real life with those World War II airplanes it's the same. Try not to fly 1 week, 2 weeks, and it's gonna be dangerous for you to taxi, to do landing runs, to do takeoff, circuit and landing, because you're gonna lose your skills. Once again, throttling back and making practice landing runs without using brakes. I like it. (1200 RPM power, or about 1200 RPM. You don't need any fine tuning with that parameter, and you do high-speed taxiing on the right edge of landing run to clear the runway for the next guy who may do landing 30 seconds later than you. That's a normal group landing procedure. Throttle back. I was quite late on throttling back. I need to apply brakes, and once again I bet this 180 without brakes is gonna be okay. You need to balance on the edge of a circling too. You need to feel your airplane to perform that. I wasn't able to do that excellent, but let's say satisfactory. Oh no, I've applied brakes, so I will not revive my skills on one short training mission, but still some practice is good. Good start moving procedure, standard, safe, and throttling back when it's 50 miles per hour indicated, so I've got no circling. That's already a good thing, so I didn't lost my skills completely, but who knows, maybe when I gonna start using brakes on practice landing run, that's gonna be more complicated. I'm raising flaps because with greater realism you will damage those flaps with some debris, some rocks, small rocks on runway. So that's reasonable to raise them, but of course high-speed taxiing will be easier with flaps down. That's a standard US Army fighter plane, pursuit plane, and I hope I will be able to make another stream today with a short break after this stream with a standard US bomber in this game. Not B-25 unfortunately, but A-20 twin engine bomber. That's gonna be for Russian speaking community with Russian commentaries. Yes, I have used all landing run wide, so I forgot to do, I'm sorry, I forgot to do 180s on with using brakes on one point, being stationary. So all your taxiing is gonna be combination of taxiing without brakes, taxiing with using brakes, turning without using brakes, turning with using brakes. With all that parts, you're gonna perform safe, normal taxiing procedure during group missions. Canopy closed, flaps down, and during 5 seconds throttle forward, gently, slowly, standard movement, and let's make it practice landing runs with using brakes. So accelerate a little bit more. Maybe this landing run is gonna be more challenging for me. Let's say that's simulating long landing. As you can see, I didn't use any technochat messages for that, but on the next part, takeoff and stabilized climbing, I would use it, and later to perform transitioning into straight and level attitude, I will use my .150. Okay, so now I'm taxiing into moving to start position, readiness position. Some guy advised me that's a hold position, but I can understand you apply your brakes and hold while checking out your magnetos and high RPM engine performance. I do not check it. I consider it was checked already. So when group starts, you will not be able to do that procedures. So standard climbing settings on trims all set. I'm ready to take off. Let's wait until 0 seconds and we're gonna try to take off and climb. In 0 seconds I'm gonna start moving into my start position. Throttle forward, 1500 RPM to start moving, then throttling back. We don't want to accelerate too much, but do not slow down too much. And not quite good, but still not good at all. And take off. Throttle forward slowly. Small adjustments. I'm okay with that. While she is accelerating, manifold pressure increases itself. Technochat on. When it's 130 miles per hour indicated, I take off. Gear up, RPM down, accelerate, and pitch up. Pitch up, pitch up, pitch up. She's stabilized in climbing attitude. 150 miles per hour is my required airspeed. Airspeed is too much, she's pitching nose up. Compensate that with small adjustment. So I was good in that sequence, in that procedure. Look, she's stabilized perfectly. Now I'm climbing. I love it. I love it. That's standard procedure for formation pattern. Of course, formation pattern you're gonna have 600 or 700 feet, maybe 500 feet. But I'm climbing until 1700 feet, and knowing my airfield is 150 feet altitude, I'm gonna climb to 1800 feet, and then I'm gonna do transition into straight and level stabilized attitude. When it's 16,500 feet, I'm gonna start that procedure, that sequence. Technochat on. Minus 10% elevator trim, RPM down to 43%, adjusting rudder and aileron trims, minus 5% trim. She's pitching nose up. I compensate that with my elevator trim down movements, step by step. She's pitching nose up, minus 5%. I don't touch throttle lever. She's accelerating. I'm okay with that. Wait until she's gonna pitch nose up. She's pitching nose up and minus 5% more. I don't need technochat anymore. Technochat off. And now when she's gonna start pitch nose up once again, I throttle back and my power is gonna be about 19.0. Yes, that's okay. That's enough for her. I didn't lose heading. That's what I'm talking about. I will talk about that on a 20 mission later this day. P-40 is beautiful considering heading on stabilized attitude. She doesn't lose 1 degree of heading for minutes, but of course you need to stabilize her. As you can see, she's not stabilized yet. Some excessive airspeed I've got, but she's gonna stabilize herself in some 20 seconds, I think. So, and I need to assess my airspeed, whether airspeed is enough, or maybe I should increase or decrease power. Look at this, 150 perfectly. I love it. P-40, I just love that combat platform. Perfect dive bomber, perfect strafing attacker airplane, very capable fighter plane. Of course you need to have thrust weight ratio for your capabilities to survive against 109, 190. And I will not wait for long. I will not wait longer for my first left 90 degrees turn. Let's start. Standard 15 degrees bank angle turn. I add excessive power, so she will accelerate. She's almost perfectly stabilized. She's gaining altitude. My new heading is gonna be 060. And throttling back. Pull up a little bit and leveling up. 060 heading. My P-40 is stabilized. Now I'm somewhere here, moving there, and then I'm gonna turn left once again, move to this area, and I'm gonna get myself into this area of approach straight, getting into approach straight. I'm gonna do that approach and practice overhead brake pattern, landing approach with flaps down, wheel down, stabilized descending, and do some landings. I've got time for that. Throttle back when it's 30 degrees until your desired heading. My banking angle isn't okay. I need to compensate that. It was not enough. Okay, leveling up. So altitude is okay, 1800 feet. P-40 is easiest airplane for me. She's quite pilot's airplane. As you can see, 19.4 inches manifold pressure is a little bit too much for her. But my fuselage fuel tank is emptying right now. So while losing fuel behind your back, you can see she's pitching nose down. You will not see that, but you can feel it. You're gonna need more and more airspeed to maintain altitude, to avoid pitching nose down, to avoid losing altitude. So if my airspeed is too much, I will not adjust it, because very soon I'm gonna need to increase my airspeed to compensate pitching nose down tendency. I will compensate that with closing my cowl shutters. That minus 30%, minus 1/3 should help. So you're gonna see my altitude is gonna increase a little bit. Vertical speed is gonna be positive, not negative. It was negative. But as I've said many times previously, these P-40 cowl shutters are not near so effective as my next airplane, A-20. A-20 you can close it to 3% and you're gonna have an effect that you will not achieve with P-40 closing 30%. I have just stopped her losing altitude. My airspeed is 0, not positive. Yes, okay, that it's not negative, but I'm quite cool engine, so I could close it even more. But anyway, that radiator shutters is convenient and valuable, relevant tool for you, because you will not be able to change your speed with your throttle lever. It's gonna be too much if you have not enough speed and you need to increase it a little bit. You're gonna do a slightest move with your throttle lever, and that's gonna be too much. You're gonna move it back, and that's gonna be not enough. So you're not able to fine-tune your airspeed with your throttle, because you're not able to fine-tune your manifold pressure with your throttle movement. I've tried to do that with your mixture throttle mixture lever, but that also doesn't work. Maybe that's realistic, maybe that's a game feature, game flow, but who knows. Anyway, those radiator flaps are very good tool for you, even on P-40, and it's mighty tool for you on A20. Of course, you need to watch not to cool down your engine and not to get it overheated. My engine is quite cool right now, and I like very much how my P-40, how stable she is. She maintains heading, not losing even 1 degree of heading for 25-40 seconds. I can spare my attention for working with map, for speaking to you, for assessing tactical situation, for anything. So P-40, I just love it. I understand many people, many users, many players do not like P-40, but with such a weak thrust weight ratio, any fighter plane is gonna be bad. So P-40 is at least very capable in maneuvering. It's the easiest airplane in terms of maneuvering. With a good power unit, P-40 is gonna be mighty. That I watch that small pond. I'm gonna turn left when this pond's gonna be on my 9 o'clock to see it. And this is Romsey. Okay, let's turn left. Increase power, banking left, pulling up, not letting her lose altitude, not letting her pitch her nose down. That's a perfect standard 15-degree bank angle, 15 degrees bank angle, standard turn. She's pitching nose up, not letting her gain altitude, because she's losing airspeed. Airspeed is a key for everything. I need a little bit more airspeed on while banking, so I decrease manifold pressure, because very soon I gonna level up and I don't need excessive airspeed, because she will not be stabilized. That's bad for formation, bad for route flying, bad for operational awareness. You're gonna steer your instrument panel, you're gonna watch your nose behavior, and you need to watch your SIGs, look around you, look on landmarks, look on terrain features to know where you are, to assess and to pick up the right timing for the next move. And my next move is gonna be left 90 degrees turn. I can see Lyndhurst. That's my standard landmark terrain feature for getting myself into the approach straight. Wait a little bit more and a little bit more, and maybe I start turning right now. Then I'm gonna do some adjustment, do some shifting on approach straight. Do not forget to add some extra manifold pressure to let her increase her airspeed, because she's gonna be stabilized with excessive airspeed. Where is my... Oh, I would say I forgot this airplane has got a huge standard turn radius, relatively big. So where is my airfield? I thought I was too late on. Starting left turn, but I would say you probably will not be able to see that on stream, but I'm perfect. Once again, like we call it in Russian, like in a drugstore. So fine, so exact, so perfect timing. So I even don't need to do any shifting on approach straight. That's not good in practice and training from training point of view, but that's perfect and I'm very glad to know that, because my skills is there. That's experience. If I would be leading a group, that would be very comfortable, very good for your approach. And this that's not final approach, but overhead brake pattern initial point approach is basic procedure, because when you practicing, when you learning, when you training, that's only first step. Your next step is gonna be approach for ground attack missions, ground attack procedures, and those approaches is going to be much more important and much more difficult. So if you don't want any bedlam, any disorder, any incompetent performance during your combat mission while flying group, you need to practice with the simple things like this before landing procedure, this overhead brake pattern initial point approach, which is performed by me perfectly. So that was 37 seconds when I started my 37 seconds when I started my overhead brake pattern. So if I'm leading the group, second airplane is gonna start it on my starting time plus 15 seconds, that's 50 seconds, and third airplane gonna start plus 15 seconds more than 0.5 seconds, and I would say I'm gonna have 2 seconds overshoot, because the real time of starting overhead brake pattern wasn't 35 but was 37 seconds. So you need to count, you're gonna have 2 seconds overshoot. That's why my opposite heading shifting is gonna be not 7 seconds but 5 seconds, 2 seconds less in case of overshoot. If you undershooting, you can imagine your opposite course shifting is gonna be 2 seconds or some seconds more. I'm gaining altitude, that's not good. Probably I decrease power and lower my nose, and that's 330. I'm leveling up, wait 5 seconds. 5 seconds and proceed with my left turning. When it's 240 heading, I level up and start transitioning into wheels down, flaps down, landing approach, descending. And I will hit the landing run threshold without any adjustments. Oh, I'm too high. That was my mistake, my bad. I should count on that. I should take that into account. And leveling up, gear down, throttle back and forward, RPM forward. Not letting her lose altitude, pitching left, rolling left, adjusting, not letting her gain altitude, adjusting trims. She is slowing down, not letting her lose altitude. Now pitching nose down. My altitude is too big. I'm higher than my normal landing glide. Maybe no, maybe not. Maybe I'm okay. Yes, probably I'm okay. Yes, I'm okay. That's a good landing approach. I'm gonna do touchdown, gonna do touch and go probably. No, I'm quite high. Yes, I'm quite high, so I'm overshooting. That's why you need practicing. But I will do touch and go anyway to practice landing. Oh, very, 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 very bad. Very bad touch.
currently I'm stabilized in climbing and left turn climbing. Not too much time I've got. So my overhead brake pattern was okay. I will not repeat it. On my 1/4, so after 90 degrees turn, I gonna level up and climb about 18 seconds without turning. That's important for having a good transitioning into wheels down, flaps down, final approach, descending, initial point. And proceed with climbing and turning left. I remember I need to wait about 40 seconds after I start transitioning into straight and level. I start the transitioning in 17 seconds. So it's 57 seconds when I'm gonna start my left turn. It's 57 seconds. I'm almost ready, and I start my left turn. That's 40 seconds gap between starting transition into straight and level and next and final 90 degrees left turn, and I should be okay. I remember that from my previous training missions. I'm not quite good in it, I could be wrong, let's wait and see. But I'm keen to practice my touchdowns. That's the hardest part of all mission. Technichat on. 240 is close. Level. Wheels down. Throttle back and forward. RPM forward. Oh, what was that? That was my mistake. Not letting her climb. Adjusting trims. Not letting her lose altitude. She needs to lose airspeed. Technichat off. I don't need it anymore. I'm too high. That's a bad approach, but I will anyway perform descending, and then gonna try to transition into climbing. Funny thing, that wasn't a bad approach. I'm rusty. I will do touch and go. Not bad. Touchdown. 37 inches power. As you can see, all procedure was completely wrong. That's what I call lack of operational readiness. That's why you need to practice. Okay, I'm stabilized. I have stabilized climbing attitude combined with left turn, and on 060 I'm gonna level up and wait 18 seconds once again. That was 23 seconds when I leveled up, plus 18, it's 41 seconds when I'm gonna proceed with my left banking. But nevertheless, I'm quite good in whole procedure and whole sequence of mission parts. I remember them. I'm not awful. I'm not good, yes, I must say, but I'm not awful in that performance. Okay, I'm starting technochat on. I'm starting transitioning into a straightened level in 20 seconds. RPM down to 43. Minus 5%, minus 10% more. Adjusting trim settings. Minus 5% more. And minus 5% more. Technochat off. I don't need it anymore. 5 seconds left until left turn. And left turn starting. The whole procedure is very complex. I'm not able to comment everything I do. As you can see, I watch the landing run edge to assess whether I'm too close or too far. I'm okay, I would say I'm okay. And I technochat on. I wait until 240 heading, then I'm gonna level up and do transition into level up, gears down, throttle back and forward a little bit, RPM forward. Adjusting trim settings, not letting her lose altitude, let her lose airspeed. Banking left, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, not letting her lose altitude, and it's 125 miles per hour indicated. Pitching nose down, adjust lowering flaps, throttle forward. That's excellent transition into descending, into wheels down, flaps down, stabilized descending, and for final approach. I'm a little bit low, I would say, but I will proceed. That's standard. I like this final approach. And as you can see, I do very, very small adjustments with my throttle. Vertical speed is almost constant. That's fine. This standard approach gonna be the reason for good touchdown. That's very important. That's the beauty of this realistic aviation simulator. Not only dogfighting and strafing and something else. It was a bad touchdown. It was, the landing itself was not good. was not good. Adjusting elevator trim into standard climbing settings. And 130 miles per hour indicated. I take off. RPM down to 2%. That was... I didn't raise gear. I'm rusty. I need to practice more. I need to practice more. Leveling up. So as you can see, without techno chat I will not be able to do those transitions. In real cockpit you're gonna feel all that with your hand. In game you need to control your instrument gauges, your nose behavior, and do adjustments simultaneously. So let's make normal approach this time, or maybe not. I've got no sign, unfortunately. I'm okay, I'm probably too far. Yes, I'm too far. I'm too far. So I will start my transition into wheels down, flaps down, stabilize descending attitude a little bit later. Yes, I'm too far. And they're gonna bank hard immediately. Wheels down, RPM forward, throttle back and forward, adjusting elevator, trim, adjusting aileron trim, rudder trim was okay, not letting her lose altitude, that was better, bad transitioning. Flaps down, nose down. She's slowing down, that's okay. Throttle forward. I'm stabilized. I'm descending stabilized. That's what I like. Perfect approach. That's experience I've got. I like it. Perfect approach. I need to adjust. My power was not enough, so vertical speed was too much. That's a great approach. I can see it already. I will do landing, and that's it for me for today. And I hope I'm gonna be able to do next stream with A20. A little bit undershooting, but that's okay. Oh, very bad landings, very bad landings. I expected that. That's what you've got. Facing yourself in the mirror, your fat body in the mirror, that's what you've got when you skip your workouts, and bad touchdowns and bad everything. That's what you've got when you skip your operational readiness training missions. By the way, I'm not fat, I'm fit. Okay, landing run was okay. High speed taxiing to clear the runway is more or less okay. Let's throttle back, do throttling back. She's slowing down while losing aerodynamic surface influence. She's changing her behavior that could catch you unaware, and you can get your circling. That's unsafe. That's circling attempt. Here I needed to apply brakes, but probably that's acceptable while clearing the runway, because my taxiing speed was almost 0. So that in realistic simulator that will not cause any flat spots on my tires, and on wet, muddy, icy surfaces that will not cause additional circling. And this mission could be 2 or 3 times longer, but I got no time, unfortunately. So anyway, this practice was good. I needed that practice. Last time I had any P-40 training missions was middle of September, in the middle of September, and probably I had some as you can see, taxiing speed isn't okay. Or maybe okay, it's too slow. Now I've changed power settings, it's gonna be too much. I need 1000 RPM, 1005, probably 1010. That's exactly what I've got right now. I've got 1015 probably. I do S-turning, of course, on this airplane. That's in realistic conditions and realistic gameplay. That will be not only for not colliding with any obstacles, not killing any personnel, but also to see the surface conditions ahead, some pits, some bumps, some mud, some dumps. You will try to avoid some maybe rocks, some some cars, trucks, some different type of surfaces. For example, you're gonna have some steel plates, not only asphalt, some patches of asphalt. You're gonna need to avoid them or cross the borderline with 90 degrees angle, not 40 or 30 degrees angle, to avoid. As you can see, I'm too fast. That taxiing speed isn't normal. That's too fast. That's unsafe. So I moved my throttle lever a little bit back. That's not gonna be enough. So I move it forward once again, and those 1015, 1020 RPM, 1015 probably is too much. I need 1000, 1005. Once again, on such a low power, on such a low engine power, manifold pressure gauge isn't working yet, but constant speed prop unit, I forgot how you say it in English, it doesn't work yet also. So any throttle movement causes RPM changing, and you can see that on your RPM gauge. That's very convenient for controlling small amount of power, engine power. That's absolutely not boring for me to perform that. Perform the taxiing, as I say that I do error, as you can see, that was circling attempt. So not only not boring, but quite challenging for me not to do any mistakes. So I did 2 mistakes, 2 circling attempts. No circles on practice landing runs, no circles on taxiing, but 2 major errors, circling attempts, as I call them. Once again, that's circle. That's operational readiness. That's lack of operational readiness. So I wouldn't declare myself operational with such poor skills. But anyway, now I'm gonna have a short break, 20 minutes break, and next stream on 820 is coming up. The same server, the same training. It's gonna be taxiing. 8:20 practice landing runs are too easy. There is nothing to practice that there. I probably gonna do takeoff, circuit and landing without bombs, and then simulation of then combat mission simulation with practice bombing run. So okay, thank you for watching. Short break, 20 minutes before next stream on 8:20. There's gonna be Russian commentary stream.